Hi, how are you? And nice to be with you once again. And let's have a look at the Business Tarot. And what we're looking at is the astrology for the Sun moving into Scorpio. So our perspective is about to get bigger, broader, and wiser, which is a really good timing for us because that's exactly what we need. And the other aspect, of course, is we've got Mars and Mercury, both were moving into Sagittarius. And both of those are going to be pushing us to really get great clarity and to delve deeply into understanding. And in this instance, we're talking about understanding our product and our services in relation to other people. So we've moved from a phase of getting comfortable with our work in terms of who we are. And now, of course, we want to take that new information and that new initiatives and new ideas, proposals out into the broader public. And for some of us, we've already done that. We've already put forward our proposal and our perspective on work. And what we're noticing, sorry, a lot of cards just dropped out, way too many, is that it's not taking off. So this is a little look at, let's see what Spirit has in terms for us. Using the vice versa tarot, so for those of you who are not familiar with it, we have images on the back and images on the front. And then we need clarifiers. I've got the Chinese tarot. So let's see, I just need to focus a little bit on the cards. That's all I want to take. Okay, so I just got told to cut the deck, so I'll cut the deck and let's see what's coming on. And we'll just take cards off the top. So a technique for working with the tarot is normally just to let the cards shuffle and then work with the cards that come forward. But sometimes when I'm shuffling, I get a distinct message about, cut or that's enough, and then I also get told the number of cards. So, and we're taking from the top, which is a little bit unusual from us. Okay, and we've got 6. Okay. Well, that really wasn't what I was expecting at all. Never is. But let's see what we've got. Okay. So to go along with that movement, the first card out is the 8 of Wands. And this normally talks about messages coming into us, which I think is quite true. But I'm going to change that a little bit because what follows on is going to be the Knight of Swords. So the way that I want to put this through to you is this is the time for you to go out and seek information. So this is not a passive waiting for the messages to come. This is more, what information you need to find out, and it's time for you to go and actively seek that. And that's what the cards are saying there. Interestingly, what they follow on from is a little bit about, here we are with the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles is often about being stalled. So this is the affinity symbol above, and we're balancing two different perspectives. But what that's doing is it's basically saying we are so busy doing this, and the card came out with Temperance in reverse, that we've become out of balance in our perspective. Now, a lot of that was the Scorpio season behind. The Scorpio season is now, the Sagittarius season behind. And Sagittarius is very introspective. And I think this is where we've been. And this is actually saying to us quite clearly, there's something that is most definitely out of balance. And this is what you need to go and get information about. Because how you're currently seeing something is actually it's not right, it's not wrong, it's all out of perspective. And you're just in this loop where you're constantly balancing things, but it's small, it's not big. Look, you're not looking at the horizon at all. You've turned away from what's in front of you and you're completely preoccupied. So it's really saying you need to get out there and seek new information and get some new messages. Now, what's coming along from all of that on the other side is, that's, wait till you see, is you've got the 10 of wands, which is carrying a burden, and you've been carrying this for a long time, but you're almost home, so it's almost time to let it down, followed by the page, which is about the heart, and you got the message of a young new love or beginning. So I think the perspective, when I look at these 4 cards together going across the top, the perspective is there's been something that you've been carrying around. I'm going to get the cards right. And it's been really heavy, but you've chosen to do this. And now it's saying, I think it's time for you really to get a new perspective on why you chose to make everything so hard for yourself. Or your choices you've made are making things hard for yourself. Because in actual fact, you are not making the decisions and you're not making the choices because you're completely out of balance. And then underneath, what we've got is the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Cups, which is talking about fulfillment. Now, the 3 of Swords is heartbreak and it is disappointment. But if you have a look at the card, the nice thing about the 3 of Swords is talking about the capacity for you to learn and grow from that, because what's happening is you've got the perspective to be working on it. And it looks like you need to go through this to get to there, so that there's something that you have been stuck with. And even though it's out of balance for you, and even though it's not making you happy, and you know it's not making you happy, you're actually really too afraid to put something down and to go after what could possibly make you happy. So I'm just going to go and get some more cards, and that's interesting. So what's on the bottom of the deck is the 7 of Pentacles, which is someone sitting there stoically watching this tree slowly bear fruit. But if you go in and have a really good look, this person is so unhappy with the harvest. And in this depiction of the 7, it's really unhappy with what the result is and what the harvest is and what's coming back. So I really think we need to do some clarifiers, because this is for the Sun moving into Sagittarius out of Scorpio. This is not what I was expecting. Okay. Clarifier, 10 of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, that's a lot nicer. So it's definitely a time to end your thinking about something. And the messages came in, you're thinking too much from your own individual perspective, and you need to go out and broaden that. And that's also an impact of moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius, because Scorpio is very much about introspection and the murky self, our emotional deep self, whereas Sagittarius is a broader perspective. So let me just focus in. I just need to focus in on the cards and see what else comes out. Okay. So as clarifiers, we've got the Ten of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Star. The Star being the Wish card. Okay, just got the message one more. And the Ten of Staves. So we got a repeat of the Ten of Staves. So it really is, and so we've got to, when you got, it really is time for something to end, and it's definitely this perception that the harder you work, and you're supposed to work hard, and it's supposed to be difficult, and it's supposed to be really complicated, and make yourself hard work and sweat to get where you need to be. Because it's saying that the Wish card is there, and it is the Wheel of Fortune, which is also a 10. So you've actually ended up with 4 10s. It is definitely time for you to end something. But it's going to be really difficult for you. You know what you want to end. You know you need to begin something else. And to begin something else, something has to end. And it's got something to do with you and just not listening to the messages that you know. So you need to change something. You know that something you used to love doing and really enjoy doing is no longer giving you that sense of value. And it's the time to let it go. But you seem to have got so caught up in this whole perspective. If I let it go, then a disaster is waiting to happen. But in actual fact, you've got 5 10s. In actual fact, it's a new beginning that's waiting for you. But you need to go out and you need to get the information you need, because you just don't have the information you need. In fact, you seem to be going round and round in a cyclic pattern. So it's time to recognize the cycle of your thinking, posing the same question, getting the same answer, and to see, 10 of Cups is coming up, and to not be so afraid to make the change. When we think about something and the 3 of Swords, it's very dramatic and it is something hurting us personally. But when we think about it, it's about something, letting something grow and develop, and not being so afraid of being hurt. But we learn from being hurt, and we learn from success, and we learn from disasters. And you seem to be making, tying yourself up in knots, and it all seems to be, oh, if I do this, what if? And it seems to be, even though you don't have the 4s, you seem to be sitting in a situation of complacency and not wanting to chase things out. And you've got the 4 of Cups, and see, look at that. Sorry, the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So it's about looking towards a new beginning, and to just start taking those steps to that new beginning, and really trusting that these ideas that you're having, these small tweaks and perspectives that you're getting, is exactly what you need to do. And everything has a lifespan. Everything has a time when it really works, and then some things don't. You need to then just slightly shift it and change it. And that's really what I'm getting. And then underneath that, is the Knight of Staves. So there's lots of things about some action that needs to be taken, and you know it needs to be taken. And it's okay to take it. You want to take it, but you're just hesitating about, if I take it, what's going to happen. But I think what's happened is you've just, and this is really what this card is about, you've actually outgrown it. You've reached the point where you wanted to be, and you've kind of outgrown it. So it's time to set yourself a new series of perspectives, a new series of objectives, a new series of goals, and to move what you're currently doing more in line with what you want to achieve, and but most importantly, more in line with what your audience or your new audience that you're after wants. Because it's like you've reached the point and you've then reached a level and now you've stalled. And you've stalled because you're afraid. But it's time to push it just that little bit further. It's time to take the perspective. But before you do, go out and ask the questions and get the information. Actively start to go out, ask the uncomfortable questions, ask the hard questions, because it is time for you to really move into something new. So we've got 2 pages of cups, which is talking about something new coming in, but it's very small at this stage. It hasn't taken off. And you've got an ace of coins. So again, it's about this new beginning, but it's tiny, tiny, tiny. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens. So you've reached that pinnacle that you set, and you should be really pleased that you've received it and you've set it. And now it's time to reevaluate, get some additional information, and move on to something, because whatever you've got is just not fulfilling you anymore. It's just not doing it. It's just not doing it. Time to move on to something else. But remember, it doesn't mean that you leave everything behind. It's more like go out, get the information, do the refocusing, do the reshift, and then that will open the gate for you to start developing the new idea and for it to really get some traction. Because the old way of looking at it and the old way about making decisions around it is holding you back. Okay, talk soon.